I guess just let's start off with what happened in that fourth quarter. Seemed like the defense and offense all disappeared.
Well, the offense, we kind of lost our rhythm because there were so many stoppages of play. You know, we were able to play up and down without fouling, without turnovers in the first half. We had two turnovers at halftime, and we had 10 in the second half, several in the fourth quarter. We had some bad turnovers against their double teams, but we also, the fouling was terrible. I mean, I think that's more than anything when you allow a team that's kind of on the ropes to catch their breath and go to the free throw line that many times. I mean, they were in the bonus for almost the last 7 minutes of the quarter. I was told one stat, I don't know if it's quite accurate, but there were like 13 fouls called in a row against us before they got a foul called on them. So, you know, that many stoppages of play works to the home team's advantage. They were able to get their post ups, their size took over a little bit in the fourth quarter. You know, Cambage made 3 turnarounds in a row, but they scored on, you know, off of some of our turnovers because we ended up fouling. And, you know, we've preached all week that if you want to beat this team, the free throw difference can't be a big disparity. And of course it was again today. It was 21-9 in attempts. And, you know, that's as much on, that's not, you know, necessarily a product of officiating or anything else. That we reached in, and I don't know if they were all fouls, but you're not going to win. The reason we lost the first time we played to them was the free throw line. And if we don't clean that up, it's going to be hard.
How about on the other end? It seemed like everybody outside of Ariel struggled after, you know, the shots seemed to be falling for the first three, you know, I guess 2.5 quarters. But anyone outside of Ariel?
But part of that's the rhythm of the game. I mean, they doubled Tina every time. They switched a lot of our pick and rolls. We missed some open shots that we had made early. Obviously, you know, Ariel ended up with 20, but, you know, she normally makes some of those threes. And then offensively, we turn, you know, it's turnovers that turn into offense for them. So, you know, it's not just a product of the plays, it's a matter of execution. And we were able to execute the entire first half. And that we allowed them to disrupt us a little bit more in the second half.
And just one last thing for me, what was drawn up on that final possession? I don't know if I'm assuming you weren't looking for a fadeaway 3 from that.
No, we were trying to get it to Tina off a back screen. They did a good job of taking it away. Ariel was the second option. We jammed it up. They came out and sent 2 defenders. We were trying to get people away from her if she was the second option. But they sent a second defender, and we didn't need a pick and roll there. We needed her just to go.
Thank you.
Yep.
Jen?
Hey, Coach, kind of just following up on that question, you know, the broadcast was talking about playing through Ariel a lot in the fourth quarter. Were you looking for Tina as option A down the stretch and she was just double a lot, or were you consciously trying to play through Ariel as kind of a top option?
No,
you know,
that was not the top option. We were trying to get a balanced offense all game and play off what the defense gave us. We tried to run post-ups and pick and rolls with Tina. We had her and Ariel and her and Tosh in pick and rolls. But they, you know, credit their defense a little bit, you know, up in the pressure, and, you know, their size in the lane, I thought bothered us some and forced some of the turnovers.
And Ariel had 20 shot attempts tonight, which is significantly above her season average coming in. Do you like her taking that many shots in a game? And, you know, what did you think of her performance overall?
I mean, I think overall she was aggressive. I mean, she, you know, sometimes the ball found her too. You know, we penetrated and we were able to kick back out to her. She's more aggressive. We put her and Tina in plays, and they took Tina away. So, you know, she had the shots to take. I mean, you know, she was, you know, 6 for 12, 50% inside the 3-point line, just didn't make threes today. I don't put a specific number of shots on each player because some nights it's been Tina. Maisha got 12 shots. Our bench, I mean, the balance wasn't necessarily bad. I just, you know, you either make them or you miss them.
Then last thing for me real quick, noticed that Erica played 3 minutes. Was that just what the game dictated, or did she have any setbacks when she came in early?
No, there were no setbacks. I just felt to play that it was easier to play 3 posts instead of 4 in the second half.
Gotcha. Good to hear. Thanks.
Mm-hmm.
Christy,
Hey, coach. You said that their defense changed a bit, jammed some things up a little bit differently in the second half. What was the biggest difference defensively that they presented?
Well, they did
In the
more
second half.
switching. They did more switching, and they did more aggressive defensive play with their big and the guard against whoever was, particularly when Ariel was the ball handler and pick and rolls, but against a lot of it. And, their double teams were harder and more aggressive. The other thing they did is played their bigger lineup the whole fourth quarter, or most of the fourth quarter. They took Raquana Williams out and played Hamby most of the fourth quarter, and that forced us into some different matchups. If we played our smaller lineup, it put Natasha on one of their post players on Hamby, or we played a little bit bigger and took one of our guards off the floor. And that's really great when Elena and Emma are here, but it's not something we're used to doing as much. We just haven't had time to practice it without Tina being there and with the injuries we've had. So we'll get better at that, playing a bigger lineup, but it's just not a rhythm thing for us yet.
Right. And the last thing for me, with a quick turnaround, playing the same team, usually you would have a week or two before you would see the same opponent again. But with a quick flip, do you anticipate seeing that from them from the jump early in that game on Tuesday? And if so, what kind of quick adjustments do you foresee making?
I'm not going to talk about our adjustments until I watch the film. If they had success with it, I would assume they would come out, that aggressive and more aggressive. I thought we put them on their heels a little bit early, but we'll see.
Thank you.
Cream,
Just one last quick one for me. I'm just curious, is this one of those frustrating ones? You're up by 21, up by 20 in the third quarter and kind of let it slip through your fingers. Does this one kind of, I know there's a lot of season to go, but does this one feel like, damn, we had this one and it kind of got away from us?
Very much so. Those are the ones that stay with you.
That's all. Thank you.
You bet.
and then last question to Rafiq.
Yeah, coach, you did everything right in tonight's game, minus, of course, the game winner by Chelsea Gray. Natasha Cloud was getting some shots. Tina Charles was making all the shots. Like, how effective will that be going to the next game, only to actually close out of the game when you're leading by 20+ points?
I'm not sure I understand the whole question. I think that I don't think we played that great in the second half. I think our fouling was a real problem. I think that, we have to do a lot of the things that we did early, but we're going to have to figure out some ways to punish them for some of their defensive aggressiveness. Sometimes you can use it against the team. I'm certainly not going to tell anybody what we would do. We'll see what our adjustments, will be after we watch it.
Thank you for your time.
Yep.
That's it, Coach. Thank you.
Yeah.
Hi, Ariel.
Hey.
Anyone has any questions, please raise your hand. We will start with Kareem.
Hey, Ariel.
Hey, Kareem.
I know, I'm sure it's a frustrating one. What do you feel like the biggest difference was in that fourth quarter when, you guys were up by 20 about halfway through the third? What changed from that point on?
I feel like lack of focus just because we started committing a lot of different fouls. Regardless if we agree with the refs or not, we were still committing fouls that were unnecessary.
You seemed, the offense was clicking and so efficient through those first three quarters and kind of went stagnant. Mike was saying, some of those fouls and stoppage of plays on the defensive end kind of threw you guys out of flow offensively. I'm just kind of curious what changed on that end also. What kind of happened when the ball, changed from moving around and everybody was knocking down shots to seemed like you were the only one who could find the bottom of the basket for a while there.
Yeah, I mean, it got stagnant. And to Coach T's point, we want to be able to get the ball out and run without having to stop, free throws, having to rebound on free throws, and always having to take it out full court. If we get stops on one end, we're able to push and transition to the other end. So yeah, got to find a way to keep them off the line and to continue to have focus on defense.
Can you take me through that final possession?
Yeah, set a screen, came up, I was open. I feel like I brought my eyes up too late to see that I had a big man on me. So I took the shot that I thought was the right shot at the time, but I'm not going to get on myself for it. If you willing to make it, you got to be willing to miss it too. So.
And just kind of one last one, is this one of those ones that, tick you off a little bit even more considering how much you guys were up and how much you can control throughout and, a good opportunity against a good team starts to kind of slip through your hands?
Yeah, I mean, it's upsetting. I feel like we kind of had a similar situation back at home when we played them. They're one of the top, I think they're in the top 3, if not maybe top 2 in our league right now. So it's definitely a game that you want to get back. But we have an opportunity to go right back at them coming up here soon.
Cool. Appreciate you.
Thank you.
Jen.
Hey, Ariel.
Hey, Dan.
Kind of similar to Kareem's question, but I guess I'm going to try to put a glass half full spin on it. Does, I know that the end result wasn't what you were looking for, but does the way that you started the game, give you guys confidence or kind of proof of concept of what everybody's been saying like all last week about it being like a new season for you guys?
Yeah, I mean, we know how good we are. I think for me, that's the frustrating thing is that we're trying to find ways to put it all together for 4 quarters. I think that's the consensus of what we all see is, yeah, we're good. We know we're good. We have to put it together for 4 quarters.
And then individually for you, as the team's second leading scorer, when Tina gets doubled like she did tonight, how does that change your mindset or what comes in your mind when you recognize that Tina has that double on her?
Yeah, I mean, just being a good teammate, we got to give her options to look out of it. And we also have to find ways to put her in positions to where they can't just double as easy as they did. And we'll figure it out.
Thanks, Ariel.
Yep.
Christy.
Hey, Ariel. Coach Thibault was talking about how they went to a bigger lineup and they disrupted that way in terms of taking you guys out of your offensive rhythm. What challenge do you feel that posed?
I think it gave them the opportunity to double better. Have a 2 big man double versus a small guard and a big man. But that's something that we have to notice as a team. I think we knew there was a big lineup on the floor, but I don't think we attacked it in the best way that we could.
Right. And you already alluded to the fact that you turn right back around and play the same team instead of having like a week or 10 days as typically you would. What kind of challenge is that? Or what kind of comfort do you have saying kind of what Jen was saying? You started the game great in terms of that offensive rhythm. So does that kind of activity and execution give you confidence moving into Tuesday's game and not necessarily how it ended?
Yeah. As tough as that loss was, it doesn't stunt our confidence, I don't think. If anything, it makes us frustrated with ourselves a little bit. But I think it's not a bad frustration. I think it's a good frustration. I think we realize what we're capable of. We saw it in action. So how do we figure out how to get it done for 4 quarters is our biggest thing right now.
Got it. Thank you so much.
Rafiq?
Yeah, part of the reasons why you guys weren't able to get the win because you had a tough time slowing down Chelsea Gray and Liz Cambage as they went on fire. Like, what were some of the defensive struggles behind that?
Allen not being attentive.
Kareem, did you have another question?
I got another one.
Okay, Rafiq.
What are some of the defensive adjustments and making executions are you looking to make up going to the next game against the Aces?
Yeah, I think we need to make their post entry passes harder and make it as hard as we can on the post players. A lot of their points come out of the paint, whether that's their point guard getting in or their guards attacking to the paint or them getting it in there. So we got to find a way to make their point paints a little harder.
Thank you for your time.
That's it, Ariel. Thank you. Appreciate your time.
Yep. Thank you.
Sorry about that. I left it up.
No, you're fine. I just always want to double check that
Yeah.
there's no follow-up.
And usually and before I did have a second one, but not this time. So sorry about that.
All good. And I didn't mean to cut you off, Rafiq. There was like a weird pause, so I didn't know if you had another question.
Yeah, I apologize. And also my bad for the little TV noise in the background if you heard it.
Oh, you're fine. Thank you.
Damn.
Hi, Mai.
Hey,
How are you?
I'm good.
Has any questions, please raise your hand. We will start with Kareem.
Hey, Maisha.
Hey, Kareem.
What was the big, from your perspective, what was the biggest difference from about halfway through that third quarter after you guys were, came out pretty much on fire and, built up 21-point lead, 20-point lead, and kind of something changed down the stretch?
Yeah, I think we went into back how we used to play, into like bad habits, and got away from what we were doing well in the first half. A lot of our buckets in the first half were coming off defensive stops. So our defense, I think the second half, we like let up a little bit. And this is a great team. You can't let up on a great team like this, because they can score from all positions. So yeah, I think that was the big difference.
From that perspective, what were you guys doing so well early on the defensive end that you got away from?
Yeah, just helping each other, like guards helping post helping guards, getting our hands on a lot of passes, passes out, passes in, rebounding the ball collectively, and yeah, so those were some of the areas we got away from.
What were some of the conversations you guys were having down the stretch? You see that lead kind of dwindling away. What are you guys talking about amongst yourselves at that point?
You ain't have to do all that. We got it. Nah. I think we just like telling each other, just keep our heads in and think of next play. One thing that we were harping on was being where our feet were, not looking too far into the game, or dwelling on a previous play that just went down.
Did you get any kind of explanation on that travel?
You go get it for me, because I'm still wondering. I am still wondering about it. But yeah, you go ask. You ask them and tell me.
Looked like just a typical hop step to me, right?
You go tell them. You ask them, or you tell them what you seen, and get back to me.
Will do. All right, thanks, Maisha. Appreciate you.
Jen.
Hey, Maisha.
Hey.
Notwithstanding the questionable travel call, you still had 16 points, and the last time you played the Aces, I think you had 32 off the top of my head. What about the Aces, makes you like playing against them, or why do you always seem to put up big numbers individually against the Aces?
I just play basketball. That's really it. I don't think I guess I'm not going to say it's just this team, because hopefully it can continue. But they're a great team, and I just play basketball, just doing my job. And what happens, happens.
I will say that the big numbers do seem extra impressive with the size and all-starness of that front court, if that's a word. So
yeah, it does, but we haven't been able to get the win both times. So I'd rather get a win than some points scored.
I'll come back to you on Tuesday, and maybe you'll have both.
Hey.
How about that?
All right.
And then if I can just ask you real quick about Ariel, 20 points for her, took 20 shots, hit some big ones. What did you see from her? Did she seem, more aggressive to you, or I'm just saying that based on the 20 shots, but what did you see?
No, I think this whole season, well, every year, but especially this season, she's becoming more aggressive. She's a go-to player on this team. She kind of has always been a go-to player, someone we look to score. But this year, especially, that she's a go-to player, and she knows it, and she's embracing that role.
Thanks.
You're welcome.
Christy.
Hey, Maisha.
Hey, Christy.
Hey, that second half, kind of what Kareem was saying, like when they went to that bigger lineup, what kind of challenge did that pose to the team?
I don't think it really posed a big challenge, because then we would go big, and we've been practicing with me at the 3, just preparing for Elena to come back too. So we've been practicing a lot with me at the 3. So it was kind of like we're used to it.
Mhm.
So I don't think it really posed a big challenge with Hamby at the 3.
And then with a quick turnaround, usually you'd have some, obviously more days, like a week or so or more before you would see the same opponent again, but you see them again on Tuesday. So to have that, the way the game ended, to have that as the last taste in your mouth, how much differently will you be approaching the next game on Tuesday with them?
Yeah, I mean, this goes back to when we played Indiana too. Our
Mhm.
first game we lost, and then we did a quick turnaround again, and then we ended up beating them. So I think we're already prepared because we've already done a quick turnaround and a away game turnaround at that. So we've seen what we were doing well in that first half, and we're capable of doing that for 40 minutes. So I think just focusing and dialing in and just executing for 40 minutes, we'll be okay for the next game.
And then the last thing for me, Coach T said that it was a 21-9 advantage on free throw attempts, and not blaming the officiating on that whatsoever, but the discipline on the defensive end. How important will that be moving forward against, especially the Aces, but moving forward against all the teams that you have here in the second half, to stay disciplined on that side of the ball?
Yes, I mean, just talking about Aces again, the first time we played them, we put them, I think they shot the same amount, like 20 something free throws too. So I mean, for us going into the next game on Tuesday, we have to, we can't, first, we can't give up and ones. Second, we got to stop fouling. We know when they're close to the basket, it's easy for them to score, right? And so we can't like give up them easy fouls or and ones, because like they're making free throws. It's not like this is a team that can't make free throws. So we just got to dial in on the defensive end, because this isn't the first time. They went to the free throw line and made free throws and knocked down free throws. So this game and moving forward too, we have to learn how to play without fouling.
Gotcha. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Wilson?
Hey, Maisha, how you doing?
Good, Wilson.
Piggybacking off what Kirsty was just talking about, just with the dealing with not fouling. For you personally, how tough is it? I guess dealing with the physicality that they're allowing on both ends, because sometimes on one end it's kind of like whatever goes. On the other end, So just from afar, I'm asking, what's it like for you personally dealing with that?
For me personally, banging with the big girls, is that the question? It's hard, but I'm a basketball player and I take on the challenge because I know I'm undersized, so it's going to be hard for me to try to like really stop a player like Liz Cambage, because it's not much I can do. So it's about doing my work early, and that's something I have to continue to get better at each and every game. Because for me, it's about doing my work early. I'm undersized post player, so for a lot of post players now, like if I just let them keep catching it 2 feet in the paint, turnaround jump shot, like that's easy for them. So I got to learn how to, not learn how to, but continue to work on doing my work early.
Rafiq?
This is Rafiq with Nothing But That Sports Talk. I just want to ask you, what do you think you could have done a little bit more on the inside offensively if you could have helped this team get the win next time, especially since you face later this week?
Yeah. For me personally, what I can do better on the inside, I guess cutting off the backside, just getting open layups. They're tall, they're bigger girls. So for me, banging in, which I like to do, if you've watched my game before, I like to pound it in. But with these players, it's a lot harder. So I gotta learn how to move off the ball and cut off more when we play taller players like these.
Thank you for your time.
No problem.
Wilson, did you have another question?
No, sorry, I forgot to take my hand out.
All good. That's it, Mai. Thank you.
Oh, thank you guys. Oh.
That concludes media tonight. We will send out an advisory about practice tomorrow. Thank you, everyone.